Hey guys, it's Pat, and welcome back to another custom LEGO minifigure showcase. This time I have Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. Now, I've been watching the new Ironheart series on Disney Plus, and it is really, really good. I had high hopes for the show, and it turned out to be really good. Even though I'm only 3 episodes in, even though we're all only 3 episodes in, the show is really good, and I am really enjoying it. However, what I'm not enjoying is all of the racist comments and racist remarks and all of the things coming from people who claim to be fans, but then are completely racist. Because real Marvel fans like myself are not racist and do not discriminate against characters like Riri, who I think is awesome so far. She was awesome in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and she's absolutely awesome in this show. But the racist fans aren't real fans, and that's really all I'm gonna say about that. But yeah, I actually started on this figure. I want to say a couple days ago. So it didn't take me long to make this figure, and of course it's all over my TikTok and all of the things. And I knew that I wanted to make an Ironheart after I watched the first 3 episodes. I thought, holy crap, the show is awesome. I want to make her in Lego form, and so I did. And now, without further ado, let's take a closer look at Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. So here is Ironheart, and as you may be able to tell, I based this figure off of, I believe it would be her Mark IV suit from about the middle of the first episode to all the way up to now to the third. I know that she's gonna get a new suit probably in the 4th episode, but this suit, I actually really like this suit, and I think it looks really cool, and I think it looks more like it looks more like an Iron Man suit, even though Ironheart is, obviously she's not Iron Man. She's not trying to be Iron Man. But I just think that this suit that she had, that her kind of like, I guess, like thrown together suit, or like, I guess her backup suit or whatever, that she had in the first 3 episodes, I thought looked really cool, and that was the suit that I decided to make here in Lego form, because we already have an official figure of the Ironheart, Ironheart Mark II suit that she had in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, as well as of the Mark I. I didn't feel like making the Mark III, the white one that we saw at the beginning of the first episode, just because, even though it looked pretty cool, it looked pretty futuristic, it looked all that, I wanted to go for this one, because one, I think it's my personal favorite suit that she's worn, and also it's actually pretty easy to make. And how I made it is, obviously I started off with the older Iron Man helmet, not the new one, because I'm not really a fan of the new one. And when I say the new one, I mean this one. This is the newest Iron Man helmet that Lego has made, and I like the old one a lot better. I just think it looks too blocky. I think it looks too weird. Yeah, it still does open, but I just think the old one that I have on the figure looks a lot better. And having said that, yeah, I know that if Lego does make a new Ironheart figure, they're probably going to use that helmet or the completely, or like the one-piece helmet. But this is the helmet that I went for, because I think it worked. I think it works, honestly. I don't think they should have made the new one, but whatever. And I believe this helmet came from the original Iron Man Mark 85 from the Avengers Endgame set from about 2019. And what I did to it was really what you see here. The first thing I did to it was the first thing I did to everything was I Sharpied it all silver with this silver Sharpie, because that's like the kind of like the base of the base color of the suit is just silver. And then I went in with all of the details, all the different colors, such as the black on the top of the helmet here, and like the faded red on like the bottom parts of the helmet here. And if I move the gun, and here, and how I did that was as I took a red Sharpie and it kind of colored those parts red, and then I took the silver Sharpie and kind of I guess and kind of weathered it and kind of like wiped it all over the or wiped it all over on top of the red to make it look like it's faded, and to kind of make it look like how you see. And I think that actually turned out looking really cool. I think that's probably one of my favorite elements of the figure is that, I guess, like faded red effect that I added to it. And yeah, the front of the helmet, or like the faceplate, you see the top of it is silver. And the only part of the figure that's not, actually colored on or Sharpied is this little gold part right there. If you can see it, like that little gold part underneath the eyes is the only thing on this figure that is not that's not painted, and also the gun here. But that's the only thing on, like, the only part of her armor that on this figure that's actually not that's actually not that's not Sharpie. And which was completely intentional, because underneath underneath the eyes of this suit of that suit, she has gold underneath. And I did go in with a gold paint marker to kind of replicate that, but I couldn't get it to work, so I just said to hell with it and just wiped it off, and just kind of leaving that gold part. And as you can see, if I actually zoom in again, you can see the eyes of the helmet are not blue like the standard Iron Man ones. No, they're actually orange. If you do zoom in and see and actually look at the eyes of the helmet on that suit, they're actually orange. So that's what I did. I went in with an orange Sharpie and I colored them orange. I guess, yeah, to bring up the look of the figure, kind of differentiate between like a normal Iron Man suit and Ironheart, which of course in the comics, Riri did steal and reverse engineer her own Iron Man suit, and Tony was like, "What are you doing? I'm gonna help you do this," and they kind of became partners. In the comics, obviously, in the MCU, Tony is dead, so they can't really do that, but whatever. I still think that the helmet and this whole suit turned out really cool. And again, this probably, I think, out of all of the Ironheart suits that we've seen so far in the MCU, this is probably my favorite. And if I actually take off the helmet, you can see I do have the Riri head underneath. And this head is not from the official Ironheart minifigure. This head, I actually took this head from a Stormtrooper from, I think, the Boarding Tainted Force set that came out in like 2-3 years ago, because this is the closest I could get to the likeness of Dominique Thorne, who, if you don't know, plays Riri Williams. And also I don't have any of the Ironheart figures, so I didn't so this is the best I had. And also it kind of looks more like Riri from the comics, plus kind of Dominique Thorne's likeness, which wasn't what I was going for necessarily, but that's just what happened. And now the hairpiece is actually Shuri's hairpiece from the Lego Black Panther Shuri's Workshop 4+ set from, I think, 2021 or 2022. Again, doesn't really look like Riri's hair in the show, but it looks more like the comic version of Riri, which I guess this ended up turning into a combination of both her comic look and also her look in the show, where like the head and the face kind of matches more of her likeness from the comics, and obviously the suit is to match the suit that she has that she has in the show, but. Whatever. I think it ended up looking pretty cool. You can actually tell that this is Ironheart, not just you can tell who it is. You can tell it's supposed to be Ironheart, supposed to be Riri Williams, and I think it turned out really cool. But actually, I'm gonna put the helmet back on because I think the helmet looks a little bit cooler. And I bet you've been staring at this for a while too. This gun and this whole like armor piece. I bet you're wondering, where the hell did it come from? Well, I'm going to tell you where it came from. It came from I think a bootleg Lego Star Wars Clone Commando minifigure. It came from this. So it looked like this, except it had like blue detailing on it, and it went from this to what you see here. And all I did to it was I sharpied it silver. And I added all of the details, all the other details that you see on top of it. Once I colored it silver, I added all of the details like these lines and these red sections to kind of and like with that faded trick that I used on the side of the helmet here and here. And as you can see, if I actually, I'm just going to take the gun off. And while I'm talking about it, the gun is also from that Clone Commando minifigure that you just saw, or not from that one, but the one that I used for the chest piece. And it had like a little magazine or like a clip there. And this is not entirely accurate to her look in the show. I mean, she does have like some, or at least it's not accurate to this suit in the show. Because her suit in the show has like a big shoulder piece and has a gun kind of like on her arm, but as you can see, I didn't do that because I couldn't really do that. So I did this instead, and yeah, it's kind of giving off War Machine vibes, but oh well. I think it looks cool, and this is the closest I could get to what is actually on her suit in the show. And I just, I'm just gonna take all of this off. Before I do that, I want to show you. You see, this shoulder is actually in red because again, this shoulder in the show has like a really big bulky part to it. But I didn't do that. But I didn't do that because I couldn't do that. So the closest I could get was making it a whole different color. And in this case, I did the the faded red that you see on the chest, on the side of the helmet, and also on kind of scattered all over the rest of the figure. But now taking all of that off, I said taking all of that off, you can now see what the torso looks like without the armor on top, and it's really plain and basic. Which I guess is kind of the point, because I don't, because I couldn't really do anything else. But what I did to it was the bottom part of the torso here, was actually done in like a bronze Sharpie. Because I actually have a bronze Sharpie. That's what I used for that detail on the front and back, because that's how it appears in the show. She has like, I guess, some sort of outer plating or like rib plating detail or whatever underneath like the main bulk of her armor. And so that's what I did, and it ended up stretching across like the entire front and back of the torso. Nothing on the side of the torso because I didn't. Because it seemed like the reference picture that I used just like a full front shot of the armor at like an angle. There's nothing. I could only really see the front front of the armor, so I didn't really know like what the sides looked like or any of that. Or actually, I could see a little bit of that. I didn't have any of the bronze on the sides of it, so I didn't. So on the other side of the torso, I didn't do anything on the other sides of the torso. And the arms, same deal as the rest of the figure, except this arm. If I zoom in again, you see this arm is done the same way I did the red on the chest plate, and also as you can see that boot there. It was done, with the same like fading effect that I did on the chest plate and like. I took a red Sharpie, then I took a silver Sharpie and used my finger to kind of wipe the red off to a point, but of course just leaving it on just enough to make it look like this. And I think it actually turned out looking really, really cool. And I also forgot to mention I did do a little bit more detail on the front of like this part of the bottom part of the torso. Okay, she kind of has that on her suit in the show. So that's what I did there. And while we're down here, let's talk about the legs. And the legs is the same deal as everything else. But as you can see, on this boot, this shoe, this thing, I did the same thing I did on this arm and on the chest plate and also on the helmet, which was which is like the same like faded effect that I did. I took a red Sharpie, then I took a silver Sharpie and kind of wiped it all over to make it look like the red is fading and the silver is kind of showing through, which again I think looks really, really cool, and I think it was a really cool effect that I added to the armor. And as you can see on the other leg now, you see a little knee thing, which is accurate to how the legs of her armor look in the show. She has like a big knee pad on one side, and she does have a knee pad also on this side, but it was a different color and it looked a bit more complicated. So I just left it blank because honestly I thought it looks better blank, and it kind of looks like the Iron Man Mark 1 armor. And that's kind of what this suit reminds me of. It kind of looks, or at least my Legoized version. It looks a little bit like the Iron Man Mark 1. But still, I still think it turned out looking really, really cool. And I'm actually going to stall while I put the figure back together, because that's the kind of guy that I am. And in Ironheart, I am really enjoying the show. Again, I had high hopes for it. I didn't immediately shit on it like everyone else, but whatever. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this rather quick showcase video. If you did, please make sure to leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and share, and follow me in both my socials. Links are down in the description down below. And you would have seen this on my Instagram and my TikTok, and all of the things are all linked down below. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Pat, signing off.